Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the 5 Minute English Practice. I'm Jessica. I'm really glad you've chosen to spend a few minutes of your day with us. Today, I'm joined by Lisa, and together we're going to talk about a topic that sounds simple but is actually quite deep: how to be kind in daily life.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa. Thanks for having me, Jessica. I really love this topic because kindness is something we all value, but we don't always practice consciously.
That's exactly why I wanted to talk about it. Kindness is often seen as something natural, something you either have or you don't. But I've come to believe that kindness is a daily choice, especially when life feels busy or overwhelming.
I agree. When people think about kindness, they often imagine big actions, donating money, volunteering, or making major sacrifices. But in reality, kindness usually shows up in much smaller ways.
Yes. In fact, I think the smallest moments are where kindness matters most. For example, the way we speak to people when we're tired or stressed. That's when our true habits come out.
That's so true. I remember a time at work when a colleague made a small mistake, and the atmosphere became very tense. Instead of pointing fingers, someone calmly said, "Let's fix this together." That one sentence changed everything.
That's a perfect example. Kindness doesn't remove responsibility, but it removes fear. When people feel safe, they do better.
Another form of kindness that I've been thinking about a lot is listening. Not listening to reply, but listening to understand.
Yes, deep listening is rare. We're so used to multitasking, checking our phones, thinking ahead, that we forget how powerful it is to give someone our full attention.
Sometimes people don't want advice at all. They just want someone to acknowledge their feelings.
I've learned that saying something simple like, "That sounds really hard," can mean more than any solution. It tells the other person, "You're not alone in this."
Kindness also shows up in public spaces, doesn't it?
Definitely. Things like holding the door, letting someone go first in line, or being patient in traffic. These moments test us because they involve strangers, not people we care deeply about.
And that's exactly why they matter. Being kind to people we don't know says a lot about who we are.
Patience is a big part of kindness for me. When things move slowly, I notice how quickly frustration can appear. But when I pause and remind myself that everyone is human, everything feels lighter.
I also think kindness is often misunderstood as weakness.
Yes, and that's an important point. Kindness doesn't mean allowing disrespect. It doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Sometimes kindness looks like setting a boundary.
Being kind to yourself, for example,
Exactly. For a long time, I was much kinder to others than I was to myself. I pushed myself too hard, ignored my limits, and felt guilty for resting.
I relate to that so much.
Learning to speak to myself with the same compassion I offer others has changed my life. Self-kindness allows us to show up with more patience and care for the people around us.
Another thing I've noticed is how kindness changes the energy of a room.
Yes, kindness is contagious. When someone leads with calm and respect, others often follow.
And even when they don't, choosing kindness still protects your own peace.
That's such a good way to put it. Kindness isn't just for others. It shapes our own inner world.
Of course, we all fail sometimes.
Absolutely. We lose our patience. We say the wrong thing. But kindness is not about being perfect. It's about noticing, reflecting, and trying again.
If someone listening today wants to practice kindness, where should they start?
I'd say start small. Notice one moment today where you can pause instead of reacting. One moment where you choose understanding over judgment. Or one moment where you're gentler with yourself.
That feels very doable.
It is, and those small choices add up over time. Before we end today's episode, I want to leave you with one final thought. Kindness is often described as something simple, but in real life, it can be one of the bravest choices we make. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well. But real kindness shows itself when we're tired, overwhelmed, or misunderstood. When reacting harshly would be easier. Kindness doesn't mean ignoring your own needs. It doesn't mean accepting harm. Sometimes kindness looks like honesty. Sometimes it looks like silence. And sometimes it looks like choosing yourself. What matters is awareness. Awareness of our words, our tone, and the impact we have on others. When we move through life with that awareness, even quietly, we create a softer world. You don't have to be kind all the time to be a kind person. Even one thoughtful moment can make a difference. For someone else, and for yourself. Thank you for spending these minutes with us. This has been the 5-Minute English Practice. I'm Jessica, and I'll talk to you again very soon.